Hey guys, welcome into our Backseat Spook-Tacular special. I'm your host Derrick, joined once again by my two co-hosts Tanner and Seth, and today the three of us are going to be taking a look at 2022's Barbarian, written and directed by Zach Cregger. Hope you guys enjoy. All right guys, we're back. Seth's looking a little different today. First ever Backseat Spook-Tacular.
Whoa!
Woo! We got a special episode today. Obviously, in spirit of the Halloween spirit, we are reviewing a horror movie today. We're talking about Barbarian.
Mm-hmm.
This is you guys' first time watching it. I've seen this more than a few times now. This is my pick.
I'm not a
Love
horror
this
guy.
movie. Yeah, you're not a horror
No, I
guy.
get scared.
Neither.
Oh, I know that because of our screening. A lot of commentary from Tanner, but it was
Yeah.
fun.
You don't want to watch a horror movie with me.
No, I liked it. I don't mind the commentary. It's funny. It's funny watching you try to piece together what's going to end up
I
happening,
needed
especially
it
with this
too.
movie.
I needed it.
Yeah. Well, Tanner, why don't you tell the people at home a little bit about Barbarian?
Oh yeah. A woman staying at an Airbnb discovers that the house she rented is not what it seems.
Definitely not what it seems. I personally really love this movie, and I'm excited to talk about it today.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm just going to hop right into kind of as best as I can breaking down this plot that, again, is much more than that synopsis would indicate. We start off with that kind of general premise. Tess is our main character, Georgina Campbell's character. She arrives late at night to her Airbnb. It's pouring rain. Can't really see around the neighborhood. Goes to the front door, has the little lockbox. When she opens it, there's no key in there. So she can't get inside. She's trying to call the property manager. Again, it's late at night. No one's going to answer. It goes straight to voicemail. She's like trying to figure out what to do. But then a light comes on inside, indicating that someone is there. So she ringing on the doorbell, and then Bill Skarsgård, Keith, I think.
So.
Yeah, Keith comes to the front door, and he's kind of like, what's up? You know, he's clearly like just woken up. Well, they kind of piece together that they've double booked this Airbnb. So Keith is also staying there, but he got in there first. It's a weird situation. Obviously, for a horror movie too, you're kind of going like, this is like messed up. Like she should probably not trust this guy. And she's kind of on edge because she's like, oh, and he's like, you can come inside, you know, we can figure this out. The main thing that I remember the trailers for this movie when it came out was just from this first act and just kind of setting up this general premise of like, is Bill, who is famously Pennywise from the It movies, is he a bad guy?
And other notable villains.
Oh yeah, sure. But I think as far as like horror, you know, it's like, okay, you know, you kind of have this idea that like something's off about him, even though he seems nice enough and he's, you know, being very polite. He's trying to be as accommodating as possible given the circumstances, but also not trying to weird her out, even though he kind of does a little bit. Eventually he suggests that she stay there. She gets the bedroom. She can lock the door. He'll stay on the couch. She agrees to this because she tries to call around to a few hotels, but they're completely booked. I guess there's a convention of some sort in town. So she's not going to be able to find anywhere at that point that night. They're in Detroit. She's in town for like some kind of job interview, and she needs to get to bed. She's got the big day tomorrow. They kind of have like these like they have really good chemistry. I like their conversations that they have throughout the night. Like again, he's trying his best to make her feel as comfortable with the situation as possible, and they end up even bonding over the fact that the job interview that she's there for, there's like a filmmaker that's covering the local jazz scene in Detroit. Just so happens that Bill's character, he's like one of the founding members of some kind of like jazz, I don't know if it is like an organization or something, or some kind of like group, and he's familiar with that filmmaker as well. So they're getting more and more comfortable with one another, even sharing, you know, some wine together. It kind of de-escalates this situation as a whole, and then they go to bed for the night. That's when we get some spooky stuff starting to happen. Her door in the middle of the night kind of swings open. She hears like some kind of like weird screeching noise or something like that.
Thank you.
Some creepy stuff. And she goes to investigate, and Keith is on the bed, or on the couch.
Well, she notably locks the doors throughout that whole time, except that one time.
Exactly. Yeah. She kind of lets her guard down, and those shots will kind of indicate that, because it's like it's like literally close-ups on her locking every door along the way up until that point. She didn't do it that time. And it just so happens the door kind of swings open, and Keith is having some kind of night terrors on the couch. She wakes him up, and they both kind of like freak out a little bit. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? She's embarrassed. They go back to sleep. I guess it's all good. She wakes up in the morning. He's already gone for the day, and he left her a little note. They're going to figure out the whole booking situation out once they kind of reconvene, but she has to go to that interview. as it's revealed during the daytime when she exits the house to go to her car, the neighborhood that she's staying in is like completely torn up. I mean, it's like completely dilapidated. It's a clearly run down neighborhood. So the one house that stands out amongst the rest is their Airbnb.
And the one thing when she showed up at night, I was like, why aren't all these porch lights on?
Right. Yeah. And now you see why.
Yeah.
I mean, like these are like completely run down houses. That's you know, amongst many red flags up until the point that is also one of them. She goes to that interview, and even after the interview, the lady, she's asking her like, oh, where are you staying? Like, oh, an Airbnb in wherever little part of town she's staying. And she's like, are you serious? You know, she's like, you shouldn't be there. So clearly a dangerous part of town. Also, she even like an Airbnb and wherever they're at, like that just doesn't sound right. Because again, you look at the rest of the neighborhood. What are you talking about? An Airbnb there? Like that's so odd. She goes back, and this is where we get the introduction of one of our characters who comes back later. It's like this homeless man coming up screaming at her, you know, as she's trying to enter the house. And hey, little girl, you know, like, I mean, clearly freaking her out. She runs into the house. She gets in there. She's freaking out. She calls the cops. They're even saying like there's no units available to send out to the house. They're kind of like, is he still there? She's like, I don't know. Can you just send someone here? So the cops still end up coming. And she, I think at a point she goes to like the restroom and she needs some toilet paper. She's looking around for toilet paper in this house, and she finds it down in the basement, right? But down in this basement, she's kind of like looking around, and she finds this rope in the wall, kind of peeking out. She decides to pull it out.
Yeah, the door.
Oh, the door closes on her, right? Yeah, the door behind her. She also has the house key. Doesn't have her phone, so she's kind of stuck down there until Keith comes back. And again, Keith can't even get in because he doesn't have the key in the lockbox. She decides to investigate, and she investigates that rope behind the wall. It reveals this secret entrance to like this tunnel, this dark tunnel. And at first it's funny because she's looking down there real dramatic like, and nope, but she's left down there just to like, okay, I gotta check this out. And she like sets up like this whole setup with a mirror and a light to shine down to that hallway. And at the end of this hallway is this room, and good Lord, this little room there has like a camera set up, a bed that has all these stains and stuff. There's a handprint on the wall. It looks like a bloody handprint, and just like a bucket. And you're like, okay, so this is some kind of like torture dungeon or something like that. This is some sick shit.
Get the hell out of there.
She's freaking out. This is right when Keith arrives back at the house, and he's banging on the front door. Well, she can see him through the little window down there in the basement, and she kind of signals to him, and he gets her out of there. She's freaking out because she's like, there's this fucking room down there with a bucket and a bed. And this is where he's like trying to calm her down. He's like, a bucket and a bed. And he keeps repeating that because he's like, what's the big deal, you know? Which is insane.
Yeah.
But again, you're still on edge. Like, is he like a part of this?
Right.
Whatever this is, you know something's going to go down. And he's like, let me just check it out. So he calms her down enough to let him go. And she kind of follows after. She has the opportunity to leave, but she doesn't want to leave him because she doesn't know what the hell's down there. Goes down there. She's calling out to him. No real answer. She goes down the hallway. And she goes into that room. He's not in there. Where could he have done? It's this single hallway, you know? There's another hidden door right there that she opens, and it leads to another set of stairs, another further tunnel, and she's freaking out at this point too.
Well, he hears him.
Yeah.
Or she hears him screaming.
Right, yeah. He's like calling out, like, you know, in the very far distance. You can very faintly hear him. She goes down there. Like, it's one of those things, you know, when you're watching a horror movie, we're like, what are you doing? Just get out of there. But in the moment, like, is she going to leave him down there?
Yeah.
And who knows what's down? I don't know. You know, I'm not going there. I don't think any of us are going down there. Any sane person wouldn't.
Like, I'm pretty sure she told him not to go down there.
Oh yeah, she was begging him not to go.
I wouldn't have even come back after I saw the neighborhood.
No, definitely not. Yeah, that's not. It's insane. So it definitely falls into, you know, those like tropes of the genre of like, don't go in that room, don't go in that house, you know, kind of stuff. But has to move the plot forward. Mm-hmm. So she ventures down these stairs further into this tunnel, and she's calling out to Keith. He's not answering, and you see like cages in there. Like, it's like real fucked up. You're on edge this whole time because you're like, what is this? These are like these like catacombs almost, you know, this entire like underground tunnel system. And finally she sees Keith, and he's crawling towards her, like freaking out, like he saw something, and he's telling her like, we can't go back that way. He's like, no, Keith, just come this way. And he's like, that's where it was. What is it? And they're kind of going back and forth. And then this is where we get our reveal of, I guess, the titular Barbarian, this like monstrous woman, like naked woman, probably like 8-9 feet tall, grabs Keith and smashes his head against the wall, like so brutally. I don't think we're going to be able to show that because it is grotesque.
Yeah.
And we get our hard cut from there. So I just want to, I'll stop right there because I want to ask you guys, with the setup of Bill potentially being, having nefarious intentions with this whole thing and this whole thing kind of seeming weird, but then him dying, what did that indicate to you guys? Like, how did you feel in that moment? Like, oh, okay, I guess he was a good guy. I guess he was just like a dude.
I called it. He was a red herring.
Yeah, you're pretty adamant.
Like, I think it was too easy for him to be the guy, just like from the beginning. Oh, this is the guy. And like, yeah, he's kind of acting strange, like where you could be like, is he like acting right now? Is he a part of this? Like what we, like what you would normally suspect in a situation like that. But there were a couple indicators. I don't know if intentional or not, but I'd pointed out when we were watching, when he gets the wine out and they start having a drink. Well, there's a big red like bow on it or whatever that he unstrings. It's red. The wine is red. I figured red herring, and I don't know. I mean, I was right.
You're right. So maybe that was some kind of
figured, but yeah. I mean, it was kind of okay. Now what the hell is going on?
Right. This is where the story just like complete 180 in tone and just like style and everything. So we cut to a little red convertible driving on the coast, and it's Justin Long just singing in his car. He gets a phone call. Through this conversation, you find out that he's like maybe like a showrunner or something like that, some kind of creator of a TV show, works in Hollywood, and the network, someone from the network is calling him, and then he's like on a conference call with a couple people, and they're telling him like, AJ, there's been a development. He's like, okay. Basically, the lead actress of the TV show has accused him of sexual assault. They make that very clear to him. So you get this like entire scene of him like finding this out and getting kicked off the show, and that there's going to be a further investigation, like a criminal investigation into these accusations. And he's like freaking out because he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, that's like his career, So up until this point, you don't know whether or not those claims are true or not through a series of events, him meeting with like his like financial advisor who drops him because he's running out of money. He's going to have to sell his house, or at least he's advised to, but he does have a few properties, like rental properties that he owns, that he could liquidate to buy him some more time with the lawyer fees and him being out of a job and everything and his rate of spending. But one of those properties is that Michigan property, the house.
Terrible investment.
That we started. Terrible. Yeah. Like, why would you have bought that?
And
I can't imagine.
From there too.
I think they mentioned something about that.
Those aren't exactly hot
like
properties.
This neighborhood. Why would you buy that? And like, it's so weird. His character is insane because like,
also it doesn't look good on him going to a different state while these accusations on him, because he could potentially be arrested.
Yeah, and he's on the phone with his lawyer who's telling him that. So it's like this whole thing. He's like in like panic mode. He's trying to figure out how to like resolve this situation as best as possible.
To me, it felt like he knew what he was doing though. By leaving,
for sure. Like, it was like, well, if I don't go, I don't have money. I got to sell this property.
Oh, I meant to like get away from the accusation.
Oh,
like
actually, I see. Yeah.
Go, like leave.
I could see that.
He knows what he did. Yeah, or at least that's how it felt.
And that's the thing. He does know what he did because as we find out later, he goes to a bar with one of his old buddies and they're drunk.
Zach.
And Cregger? This is where we get a little cameo from the director, Zach Cregger. We just see him kind of side profile, like kind of from the back, which is really funny. But he's like, come on, man, I'm your boy. You can tell me anything. Like, just be straight up. Like, what happened? And he tells him like, oh yeah, like we had sex. And then he kind of starts saying like, she was kind of tough at first, but she came around to. I'm a persistent dude. So you get the idea that like, oh, he did coerce this actress. He's in a position of power. So even if he didn't like, you might assume something like this situation would go down, he still coerced her, and she clearly felt as though she had to do this because he, again, being essentially her boss, had her do that. So that's where these accusations are coming from. And he acknowledges that, but he doesn't see the issue with that. Like, he doesn't see that as like he did anything wrong. It was consensual to him, but clearly not to her. And gets back to the Airbnb and he's staying there for the night. Also, like, he knows that people are staying there, by the way, because he called the property manager. He sees Keith's and Tess's like luggage and stuff. Because obviously they had gone missing, what is revealed to have been a couple of weeks now. It's a whole thing. But he's drunk. He ends up calling that actress too and like tries to like apologize, but goes to voicemail. It's like a whole thing where he's just like, he's not willing to accept that he did anything wrong. So you get the idea that this guy's a real piece of shit, if you haven't already up until this point. He wakes up in the morning and he decides like, okay, I got to do more investigating. Because like he still sees like the luggage and stuff. So he decides to kind of dig around. Oh, well, I think he hears a noise down in the basement and he goes to investigate. He's going down there. Is this when he's armed with like the knife and the
I think so.
Yeah,
right?
that's
and
when
the
he
flashlight.
down.
Yeah, so
he's
he gets
yelling at. He's like,
yeah.
who's ever down there?
I
You
got a
got
know?
30 seconds. Yeah, I got a gun. To no answer. And he ends up investigating down there. And he goes down there. He finds the rope, opens that first kind of hidden door, goes down the hallway, finds that room, and he's like, what the fuck? You know? But then he cuts to him looking up on a laptop if he can claim that all that, you know, the hallway and that extra room is square footage on a listing to sell the house, which is really funny.
Hell yeah.
Again, this whole act is like not
Yeah,
taking it seriously,
bitch.
really at all, which is really funny. It's kind of just focusing on this guy and how self-absorbed he is, that like he's not even acknowledging how weird it is that this room is there and it's like this torture dungeon. And then he has a tape measure, so he's measuring everything out. Well, then he bumps into that other door, even more square footage for him, right? He's real hyped about it. And he continues to measure down into this tunnel. He's coming across those cages and everything.
Like,
and
how
just
long was that measuring tape?
Right. Yeah. He's just like, I mean, that's so funny. He just like doesn't even care that this is below this house that he owns.
I don't think it was measuring tape. I think it was comedic plot tape.
Yeah, exactly. Was this when he like sees like that room, right? He sees a light from that room and he calls out, no one's in there. And it's like this gross little dingy room that has a little TV in there playing some kind of like tape for nursing babies, like breastfeeding babies. It's like an instructional tape. And he's like, what the fuck?
But you can tell it's like dated.
Right.
know,
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah. It's clearly, it's like an old tape. This is when his like tape measure starts like, you know, gets like pulled away from him and he has his knife and stuff. He's going further down into the tunnels. And then he falls into that big like hole in the ground.
Well, because I'm gonna refer to the Barbarian as Babs.
It's Babs, yeah.
It's easier. He encounters Babs and he runs.
Okay, yeah.
So he's already he knows that like something coming at him.
Yeah, some kind of monster coming at him in these tunnels, and now he's like, oh shit. Like, you know, he doesn't know what he walked into. Falls into that hole. Babs closes that grate over the top. And he's like looking around like, what the fuck? And then this is where Tess, she's in that hole as well. And she's like, you know, covers his mouth like, shh. And I believe here's where we get another cut to give us some lore on this whole situation. So we're in like I think it's like the 80s. And we see this kind of older, kind of creepy looking guy. All these shots, by the way, is really cool. Like the aspect ratio changes. And it's like this, almost like a fish lens kind of like shooting style, just following this guy. And he goes to like a grocery store and he's buying stuff for a home birth, as he says. And this guy has a very menacing vibe about him. As he's leaving that store, he follows a young lady to her house and kind of stakes her out, changes into some kind of like these like mechanic outfit almost kind of thing. And he knocks on the door and says that he's there doing inspections around the neighborhood for outages of some sort. I think it's like the water company or something. Goes into one of the bathrooms and turns on the faucet, but he unlocks the window to presumably go back later and do something to this lady. Goes back to the house, and that's where he opens the basement. You can just hear a lady already in there screaming. So that's he has some kind of prisoner held there. Really, really fucked up situation. This guy is a fucking monster, and that's the original owner of this house. What could this be? This story has so many, like, it's winding so much, and I was like, again, watching it for the first time, I was like, where could this be going? I think this kind of leads into our final act here, where
before that he encounters like the neighbor.
Oh, that's right.
Like,
yeah,
just saying that he's moving this and that, and then
right,
he's asking if he's gonna move. He's like, no, I'm gonna stay right here.
I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
The guy even makes a comment about neighborhood's going to shit.
Yeah.
Even though it's like this very nice, like, you know, white picket fence kind of neighborhood. And as we see later, that neighborhood did go to shit. Okay, so from here, after Babs closes the grate on Tess and AJ.
Not Keith.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Keith is long gone, unfortunately. Tess is trying to explain to him in that moment, as she's like looking over the grate, she just wants you to be her baby. She has like the bottle with like presumably her breast milk and signaling to AJ to drink it. And he's like, not gonna fucking drink. He's like, I'm not drinking that shit. Tess drinks it. But as he refuses, Babs gets mad, opens the grate and pulls him out of there, takes him to that like little room and tries to forcefully breastfeed him there, which is a horrific scene, just disgusting. But during that time, Tess is able to climb out of that hole and try to get out of the tunnels. As she's passing that room that they're in, she gets by very quietly, but then she bumps into AJ's tape measure that was on the ground, signals to Babs that she was trying to get out of there. Chase ensues. She gets out of the house because she runs up the stairs to the basement. The door's locked, but then she remembers that window there. She breaks it out. And as she's trying to climb through that, the homeless man from earlier comes back and helps her out. So now we've kind of realized that the homeless man was trying to warn her earlier not to, I mean, he's saying don't go in that house,
Called
but
that too.
you did call that. That was a good prediction there. So he's like some kind of guardian angel in the neighborhood trying to not let people get lured into that house, and pulls her out of there. Babs kind of goes, back into the house, and he says that she comes out at night. Tess tries to go, she goes to like a gas station nearby as she's walking around, and uses their phone to call the cops. During this time, AJ had made a break for it further into the tunnels and found a different way, like some kind of doorway.
And she let him go in.
Yeah,
there.
and Babs did catch up to him down that doorway, but she seemed scared of that whatever's behind that door. He goes in there. There's the creepy guy from earlier, but he's much older now. Obviously, this is like probably 30, 40 years later. And it's like this disgusting room. He's laid up in bed, just like can barely even move, can't really even speak to him. As AJ's kind of looking around this room, he discovers all of these VHS tapes that are labeled, as for different women that he's raped and murdered over the years. He pops in one of the tapes too, and he's horrified at what he saw. Well, he had pulled his like little nightstand closer to him, and in the drawer was a revolver, and he's kind of pointing at him at first, but then he points at himself, kills himself in front of AJ. Fucking insane. During this time, cops and Tess arrive back at the house. She's trying to explain to him, like, I've been held prisoner for weeks now. She seems like a crazy person, and they don't give a fuck.
Well, yeah, she seems crazy, but she looks like homeless.
Right, yeah, she's all kind of torn up clothes, all dirty and stuff, being in this dark dungeon.
Yeah.
And
she's not really explaining things.
No, yeah, she's hysterical. So like she's not she's not doing a very good job explaining what the situation was. But they get another call too, and they're like whatever.
There's some shooting going down.
She's like, you're not gonna help me? And they're like, they just don't give a shit. So the cops leave. She's on her own, basically. She breaks back into the house. She like breaks a window, gets back in, grabs her car keys, gets into her car. It's nighttime now. So Babs emerges through that front door, breaking it, charging towards the car, and she floors it into Babs, pinning her into the front of the house. It looks like Babs has been dealt with, though. It looks like she might have died. You could probably assume that is not the case. She goes back into the tunnels to find AJ. AJ now wielding the revolver and a flashlight coming through. You get a glimpse of that flashlight, and Tess is kind of looking ahead. She gets shot. AJ didn't realize it was her. Could have been Babs. Shot her in the kind of like in the hip, in the stomach. She's alive. They get her out of there. She's limping out of there. They get her out of the front of the house. Babs is gone. She's no longer pinned to the house. They start making their way to the this nearby water tower that the homeless man had said that's where he stays, and it's supposed to be safe, so she knows where to go. They go there. The homeless man opens up the chain link fence for him and gets him in there, and he gives him the lowdown on what this whole situation is. That basically she is the product of incest rape over the years. A copy of a copy of a copy created her, essentially, and it's like this just horrible situation. He's claiming that they're safe there, that he's been living there 15 years. She's never come through, and perfect timing, she breaks through the wall, rips the guy's arm off and starts beating him with it.
Oh my God. I've been living here 15 years.
Shit, I've been living here 15 years. She ain't never come here and fucking boom, breaks through the wall.
How do you know she can't get in here?
Shit, I've been living in this place more than 15 years, and she ain't never came in this motherfucker.
So AJ and Tess make a break for it. They go up the stairs to the water tower. I mean, it's a dead end. They're at the top of the tower. She's in hot pursuit. AJ, in a moment of panic, decides to sacrifice Tess.
He also fumbled the gun like an
idiot.
Yeah,
she's like, your gun. He's like, oh yeah, and fucking drops it like an idiot.
With the knife.
Yeah.
Fuck!
He grabs Tess by her hair and drags her, and he's like, you want your baby? Get her, and throws her off the edge of the water tower, and as Tess in slow motion is falling off, we get this insane shot of Babs diving after her baby. You see them kind of splattered on the ground there. AJ goes down, grabs the gun, and goes to investigate. Well, the way Babs, she did catch her in time and had rolled over in the air to kind of take the brunt of that fall because she's alive, and AJ's still trying to, scumbag that he is, I had to do it. You understand, right? Like
after he told her, like, I could probably get away. But
yeah.
whatever.
He's like, yeah, he said something like we were both gonna die.
Right.
You know, so
he's trying to justify the situation. He's like, you can understand. He's like, come on, I'm saving you. Piece of shit. Babs gets up. She is still alive, and
Babs is a machine.
Digs her thumbs into his eyeballs and then just like breaks his head in half.
Yeah.
And then she turns to Tess, who's there again, has been shot. She's been through a lot. She's like trying to move her, and she's like writhing in pain. Tess grabs the revolver, and as Babs is looking over her,
Babs gives her that little kiss. It's like,
she presses the revolver right up against her face.
Well, because every time she's trying to pick her up, she's like screeching in pain, and then she's like doesn't want to hurt her. You know, it's her baby.
Yeah, and then she gives her that final
Yeah.
kisses her
Aw,
hand,
she
lays the
loves
kiss
her.
on her, and then blows
She took
Babs'
way
head
too
off.
long to blow her head
Oh
off.
yeah,
I was like, dude, shoot her,
they
man.
were sharing this moment. Yeah, and kills Babs, and then we get our little kind of, and well, we get that shot too, which is really cool after she pulls the trigger and just cut to written directed by Zach Cregger, which is pretty cool. And song starts playing. But that's our movie. That's Barbarian in a nutshell, I guess. Kind of a long, lot of stuff going on, but again, a lot to kind of think about. This movie is insane. So much shit happens in this movie. What do you guys think coming in, and how do you feel coming out?
Not what I was expecting at all. You know, I've never seen any trailers for this or really seen anything about this movie other than the poster, and it's like a doorway, and so I didn't know if it was going to be like demon stuff or like an actual physical monster type. But you know, especially after like the mid, like after Keith dies, I was just thinking, I don't know where this goes now.
Yeah.
Because presumably Tess also just got killed too. And then here we are with AJ, and I was just thinking, what is, and I really liked how it all wove in to each other. I think it used a lot of good horror elements of kind of piecing different things together, and I thought it was really really well done. I'm not a horror guy, but you know, I was able to have some fun with this one and not get too spooked. I was able to fall asleep, so that was a plus.
That is good. Tanner, what do you got?
It was fun. I don't think I would watch something like this alone, but it was interesting to say the least. I think I had more questions than anything. Like, how the hell do you come up with something like this?
Right.
Zach, kind of a sick fuck. In a good way. You know, it was a good movie. But like, how do you come up with that?
Yeah.
But like, I only know Zach through The Whitest Kids You Know. I used to watch that as a kid, you know, on his channel. So funny to see him actually be like a known director now, you know,
like this acclaimed auteur. From Whitest Kids You Know to this.
It's pretty funny, but it's cool. I enjoy his style. Like I didn't know where it's gonna go. It does answer like most of your questions. I think I kept asking questions throughout the film, and you were just like, just watch. And every time it was like, it'll answer it, you know, and just be patient, I guess. But fun.
Nice.
Weird.
Very.
It was very, you know, he obviously knows he's writing in, you know, why are you doing this? Why is this happening? And he answers it pretty much almost after you're asking it. Especially early in the movie. So I thought that was really well done. He clearly knows the genre well. So
I was pretty nervous to show you guys this. Even putting this on the wheel, I was kind of like, if it gets picked, which it did, I was like, is this going to resonate with them? Like, are they, especially you guys, me knowing that you aren't big horror guys, this one's pretty out there. It's not your straightforward like slasher or demon possession. This is fucking weird. Conceptually, it is very out there, and its execution is even stranger. But it seemed like you guys were having a good time. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
Like, you know, sometimes these movies can be a little predictable.
Right.
And, you know, it's kind of a box that horror is already in, because you have to do so many things to drive the plot forward.
Right.
And to get to the scary stuff and have a moment. But, you know, I thought it was very original. So, you know, I was entertained by it, you know, and scared enough to be.
But I like that he weaves in the comedic element to it too. And I that really worked for me, where this guy AJ is just, you know, just so up his, like, his head is up his own ass, right? Like the whole time. And it's cool to see him just like go down with the measuring tape that whole time, just excited about the extra square footage, this and that. But like, obviously the audience, we know Babs is down there. So it's like, the whole time I was like, when is he gonna encounter her?
Right.
So like, that to me was like, it was funny, but it didn't take me out of what was going on though. Like I thought it worked really well, because I'm like just anticipating him like bumping into her or just something, you know, like that whole entire time. So that was really good.
I also think from the moment Tess first opens the hallway door, the pacing was great.
Oh yeah.
And it was, you know, very just here you go. We're not gonna like shoot you along too long to get to the scary stuff and to get this story moved along. But
something's always happening,
right.
you know, even if it's even in the slower
and
moments.
I enjoyed the first part, like trying to figure out if Bill was trying, like, because why was he there? Like, you know, he'd seen the neighbor. I presume he was there before the rain and maybe saw these houses too. And so, you know,
that's the thing. The setup to this movie, that first act is like when you think that's going to be the movie, especially by the trailers and everything around the time. That could be the movie. I was very intrigued with that story. Just kind of like, is he good? Is he bad? Like, what are the motivations here? Like, what is he actually telling the truth? That's fine in its own right. That's a very simple concept. This movie, just like I said, 180, 100%. It's fucking bonkers. Like where it goes from there.
And I like what you said. Like, it is great casting to cast Bill, because he is a very notable bad guy.
Yeah.
In a bunch of things. So you immediately, to me, I was like, oh, he's got to be bad, right? And like he's being kind of sketch, you know, like you're kind of suspicious right away. And yeah, I like trying to figure out, is he bad, is he good, the whole entire time.
Right.
And he's being pretty charismatic, you know, and he's got answers for everything with her. Like, she's like, you know, obviously she's not trusting him right away. She's like, yeah, I got to see confirmation of your rental thing for this, you know, like I got to make sure. So she's going through the hoops and he's answering. He's got answers. But then it's still just like a weird situation. So you kind of just on edge the whole time, but I enjoyed that from Bill. And I thought he put on a great performance. I was surprised to see him die like kind of quick, you know? And that's why I was like, oh, where does it go from here?
Because that's a big actor too.
Yeah, no,
so
that's
to
what
kill
I'm
him
saying.
off
It was
in
like,
that first act, you're like,
okay.
Oh, I thought he was going to be a driving force of this.
Yeah.
And when that is purely a red herring, where do you go from here? That's when, everyone's kind of going like, oh, now I can't guess where this is going to go. There's no way you could guess. I that's what I personally enjoyed.
Great performances from everybody.
Oh yeah, everyone's
like,
really
I thought
good.
everybody did really good. I mean, Justin Long, man. I love
He's
Justin
so good.
Long.
Yeah, I know you and I are big fans of Justin Long, but I think like once I saw him pop up.
Are you playing Justin Long in
Oh yeah, you got a little average Joe's here. Yeah, you know what? For all intents and purposes, I know he's not rocking the sweatbands and whatnot, so maybe not completely accurate. But yeah, you know what? I'm Justin Long from Dodgeball. It's actually perfect. I didn't even mean to do that. That's actually really funny. Yeah, I love Justin Long, and he's become kind of a. Usually, you would reserve this for Scream Queens, but he's a bit of a
spooky typecast.
Right? Yeah, no, he's in a lot of horror stuff as of late.
He's not in a horror, he's in a comedy.
Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe a horror comedy.
He had first dipped his toes with the Jeepers
Creepers. Yeah,
I hated watching that movie when I was.
that was a little spooky. Yeah, he's great in that, and then weirder stuff like Tusk. I think he was in like a Goosebumps. I don't know if it was like a TV show or something to do with Goosebumps. I don't know. He's done a lot of like horror related stuff, and then like you said, if not that, probably comedy. And sometimes you blend the two.
Well, the two genres. But how we see, obviously, how he comes from this Whitest Kids You Know, and then you see Jordan Peele.
Yeah,
how easy it is to twist one little thing here with comedy, and then it turns into a horror.
It's so cool how closely related those two genres are.
How like opposite of the how you receive it.
Yeah.
And you see that with these guys, Jordan Peele and Zach Cregger, two notable directors who are still kind of up and coming as far as like big time filmmakers, even though Jordan Peele was pretty well known because of Key and Peele, obviously, and he's been working for a long time, horror specifically, and being as acclaimed as he is, and Zach Cregger now with Weapons. I mean, back-to-back Barbarians and Weapons. This guy's going to get a blank check for his next movie, whatever it is that he does. But you can tell they have like wholly original kind of visions for what they want to do with horror and what horror means to them. I know Jordan Peele is a big John Carpenter guy, so he likes classic stuff. But he's able to...
uncle.
Yeah. But he likes to take stuff like that and kind of go, well, what if it was like really weird? And what if it was kind of funny? Again, Jordan Peele, you see that blend of comedy and horror. Zach Cregger, from what I understand, Jordan Peele actually had a lot of involvement with this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He did a lot. He saw some of the first cuts of the movie, gave a lot of notes, and was even in the editing bay. So he's not credited at all during this movie, but he's, I guess, friends with Zach Cregger. So he's they've worked alongside each other and take notes from one
That's
another.
cool.
So yeah, even you can see the influence there. Then he has his hand in it a little bit, which I think is kind of neat, even though he's not in the credits or anything like that.
I think just cinematically too, some of the things that they achieve in this movie, camera work wise,
Oh, yeah.
how you were talking about earlier, but you know, whenever a movie, especially horror, looks good and you know has these great little shots and the sauce, as you like to say,
Yeah.
that always catches my attention. It's like, oh, this guy really knows what he's doing with.
Yeah, I think it pairs well with like the uniqueness of the story, but then the uniqueness of the camera work too. It just like, I don't know, it bodes well together, and it just creates something like just cool to look at, but then you're also just weirded out by everything. So you're
Yeah.
like, I really love this, but like, oh god, the imagery is like insane.
I think that's what impressed me the most about this movie was the atmosphere. It feels like a seasoned vet. If I didn't know that Zach Cregger, this was like his first real attempt at making like, you know, something as focused as this movie is, I would just assume it's someone that probably has a lot of experience in the genre, filmmaking in general, you know, especially at this scale. And then I feel that even more so with Weapons too. Like you can tell the guy has a lot of talent, and he's just getting the opportunity to kind of show that off, kind of flex those
Getting
talents.
some good casts.
I mean, yeah, and I assume this, you know, whatever he does next, keep working with really, really talented and specific casting. Like again, Weapons is incredibly well cast. And this movie, the budget I think for this was like $4 million, very low.
Nice.
He tried to get A24 on board for this initially, and they actually turned it away, which is kind of crazy because this seems like something up their alley. I don't know who ended up taking it.
Is that this?
Yeah, and I don't know who like distributed the movie. I don't know, but even like A24 is kind of like, I think this might be kind of too fucking weird. But this movie, yeah, made a splash at the box office. I think it made back like 10 times its budget. I think it made like 40 plus million at the box office. So did really well. Seems like the guy has a bright future in filmmaking, and I don't know if he'll continue to do horror, but it seems like he's got a knack for it. So I'd like to see more from Zach Cregger. But speaking of horror, I do want to ask you guys, if you guys had one, what do you think what was the scariest scene to you? If you had to pick one.
I've got my. I think for me, it's probably when she's first going down. Or no, when she's going down to get Keith. Is probably the scariest.
Yeah, that seems like kind of the height
most
of
high
that.
tense.
Yeah.
But the other scariest moment was when she was running after she had gotten past and hit the tape measure, and Babs was running after
Yeah.
her. I did not like that feeling of, you know, when it doesn't show what's chasing her,
Right.
but you know it's behind her.
You can hear her like
and she's
screaming,
trying to get
yeah.
out of this window. It's like, get out of there.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that. But there was a bunch of times where I
Oh,
was
yeah.
plugging my ears and closing my eyes, man. I'm a little boy in that. In those.
I think I want to say, I mean, that one that you just said where she first goes down there looking for Keith. I think to me, honestly, that set the tone that I was like, oh, fuck this movie. Like, just because I hate getting scared, was the whisper when it wakes her up
Oh,
at night
that's
and the
spooky,
doors
yeah.
open. Like, just the mysteriousness of, okay, what, like, you don't know anything at that point. You just know the encounter, the interaction that she had with Keith, you know, and then going to sleep. The fucking whisper, dude, spooked me.
Yeah, it was very
pretty
weird.
good. And I was like, dude, get out of there. And I mean, I'm saying that throughout the movie, but she, like, the door opened. It was like that immediately, like, click. Oh, she locks the door. She didn't lock it this time. Shit.
Yeah.
So I think that little subtle little thing just did it for me.
I mean, again, yeah, this movie is pretty tense throughout. There's a lot of spooky
Yeah.
moments. I think for me, the thing that really like just fucked with me a lot was when you see that flashback sequence from the 80s. Honestly, that whole scene of him, like just the way it's following him, it just like,
And
it's
then he's
gross.
following someone.
Right.
It's
And then
crazy.
once he's like staking her out,
Yeah.
there's
crazy.
that shot of him when he backs out of that parking space and then he watches her get into his car and he's just sitting there. And as she starts to drive away, he starts to follow her. Just like made me so uneasy, and it like grossed me out.
It
And
is
then-
crazy how he
oh.
was able to turn this into an 80s serial killer movie
Right,
in
yeah.
the middle of this movie.
Right.
And then it's like, oh, okay.
And it was really cool how it went to that classic aspect ratio too.
Yeah.
Like if it was on an old TV, really creative, just really creative filmmaking. Like you could tell, again, he had that idea to like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if? And I think it was executed perfectly, and it really fucked with me. It really grossed me out. That stuff like makes me just feel like I got to take a shower afterwards. Like it's just like, this is a gross movie throughout. So this movie will kind of do that to you, but I think that really messed with me. But
I think that was my reaction after finishing this. Was
yeah, I think that's what you said.
I think that's you said that.
I don't know how much you guys have. This movie, there is like a lot to talk about, and I think there's like individual scenes that you can kind of go over and over. But I think like for what we're trying to accomplish here, I don't know if you guys have really anything else to say about this movie without sitting here for 3 hours trying to like, what is this movie even about? Like, this is so gross and weird.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think whenever you have like a monster horror movie, once the monster is revealed, it's kind of hard to keep that right in that, because once you've seen it and now you know what to expect.
Right.
I will say it kind of kept that like, just it had me still scared towards the end.
Okay,
and
that's good. Yeah, that's hard to, like you said. Yeah, like once you fully see it,
yeah,
it kind of
maybe up until she jumped off the water tower.
right. Yeah, that is a
Yeah.
goofy shot. That is
It's like Garfield going after Emma Stone.
I've got to imagine that's like intentionally funny,
Yeah.
right? They're
It
like,
had to
oh,
have
that's
been.
like
It had
it's
to.
like a goofy. She like nose dives
Yeah, yeah,
down.
yeah.
It's really funny. But yeah,
She
good little creature feature. Like
it
I
had a
don't even
bunch
know
of
how-
elements. It was just a little
Yeah.
bit of this, a little bit of that.
exactly, it's pulling a
Mix
lot
it
of
all in.
exactly. It's a hodgepodge of
And it,
of horror.
when it came out, it was good.
Yeah.
It's good. Because a lot of that probably doesn't work all the time. And
For sure.
that just shows the talent of the writing and directing
Exactly.
of Zach. Because how many times have we seen stuff like this that, it's a good little streamer horror flick
Yeah.
that people like to watch, but doesn't actually get the critical acclaim and box office numbers that this
Definitely.
had. So
You guys ready for scores?
Yeah.
So we're gonna do 2 scores each. We'll do a regular, just like based on its filmmaking merits, and then we'll do what are we calling it? The spooky score. Just kind of like on its own horror merits, I guess. We'll give 2 different scores. I picked this movie again. I'm a big fan of this film. Big fan of Zach Cregger. I think again, very very bright future ahead of himself. This movie, yeah, just really impressed me. And I think this is probably like the 4th time I've seen this movie. So I've seen it a lot since it came out in like 2022. Really blew me away in theaters. I think the cinematography is great. Performances are great. Pacing is wonderful. The editing is really good. And I just think like its ability to show you one thing and then go like, yeah, we're not doing that. We're doing this now. Oh yeah, we're also not doing that. We're doing this now. And just kind of keep you on your toes. Super impressive to keep it all cohesive and keep it engaging without just for the sake of like, oh, now it's like something else is happening. It felt very focused in that way. Filmmaking score. I'm gonna give this an 8.9. I think there is a lot of good stuff, but it does still fall victim to a lot of like those classic kind of horror tropes that, like, oh, why would you go in there if like, that kind of shit. Which again, I love, and I love horror movies, and I understand that those exist for the sake of the story, but I think there are some times where movies can kind of skirt around that is a little bit better, but still incredibly impressive. Spooky score. I think as a horror movie, it is incredibly impressive and wholly original, which I love. Give it a 9.5 for my spooky score. Tanner, what do you got?
I think for my filmmaking score, I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go 7.9.
Okay.
But I think again, great movie. I did enjoy it, but I think it is part of the reason why I don't like watching horrors a whole lot. Not only because I don't like getting spooked,
Yeah.
but because the stories don't usually aren't really top tier to me. This one was great. Like, it was a great story. So weird, and I did enjoy the weirdness of it all, but there are certain things where I'm like, you know, with the character, you got to drive the plot, so you got to keep it moving. But that's why I do knock the score just a tad.
Okay.
But still great in my opinion. I mean, you can't. That's part of the genre. You know, you got to drive it somehow. But yeah, 7.9 for filmmaking score. My spooky score. I get spooked real easy. So really, any horror movie is gonna do it for me. So I think I also give this a 9.5. Okay, I think nice. the comedic elements of it help me, you know, get through it a little more.
Soften the blow a little bit.
But it still worked for me. Like they didn't take me out completely because I'm still like, well, I know Babs is still down there, man. Like, but yeah, I think I'm gonna go 9.5 spooky.
Nice.
All right. Get the hell out of me.
For me, regular score is going to be an 8.3.
Nice. Okay.
Thought it was solid. But like you said, it's hard. The stories are not really the point of these movies, it feels like.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a knock, but you know, you kind of shoehorn yourself into that as a writer of horror genre. But the spooky score is why we're here. And that for me is going to be a 9.3.
Nice.
Just because I think he took a risk by trying to blend all these things together and being able to have it be cohesive at the end was impressive, and it was scary. So
nice. Yeah, definitely could have fallen flat on its face with all these different elements kind of mixed together, but I think the fact that you're able to pull it off is kind of, you know, worth the price of admission alone. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it then.
Yeah. I would have never watched it on my own.
Yeah.
No. I would have turned it off probably after the first act. Like, not because I didn't like it, it's just because like I'm too scared.
I would have turned it off after the first shot of it zooming in on the car, and it's like got like little screams going on until like, all right, that's enough. I'm scared enough.
I'm good on that. Well, that was this was fun for our first Backseat Spook-Tacular. Thank you guys for joining us here. We do have another one in the works, so look forward to that. We'll plug us really quick. Make sure you like and subscribe then. Stick around for that other Spook-Tacular. If you like what we got going on, we'll have our costumes. We'll have other costumes. We'll have another horror movie to talk about.
Helps us out.
Really does help us out. So yeah, consider hanging out with us. It'd be really cool if you guys did. But you guys got anything else on Barbarian?
This is the first Zach Cregger movie I've watched, and I'm glad I did. And thank you for bringing it to us, because I'm really excited to watch Weapons. I was gonna watch that at some point, but now I'm like really.
I think you're gonna like Weapons a lot. Yeah, it's a really good movie.
Shout out Zach.
So check out Barbarian. Let us know down below what you guys think about this movie if you guys have seen it. I think that does it for our Spook-Tacular. Dean, take us away.
Yabba-dabba-doo.
Hey, fans and subscribers of Backseat Filmmaking. Thank you, viewers, for watching. You need to like, subscribe, comment, and generally don't break bad on the comments, all right? Because I'm going to like kick your butt, all right? You don't want the DE after your ass. So do all that and support Backseat Filmmaking.